Okay, so list. Let's talk about list. So the list is basically definition of the list is a sequence of so the sequence. Oops. So basically the sequence of uh, data value separated by comma. So that's the definition of a list. So for example is, let's say, variable name color is equal to you have to use a square bracket for the list. Let's say red, and then what? Blue, and then separate by comma, right? And yellow. But just like a string, the list also has index. So the first one is index 0, and then 1, and then what next one is 2. So if you want to print, let's say, blue, you can say the print, and then what? The color, and then index 1. So this will print what? Blue. And then, so basically a sequence of anything separated by a comma. So you can say n is, for example, let's say this times number 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say this is your list. Of course, index is starting from 0, 1, and then 2, and then 3. So when I say print n, let's say 3, right, is going to print a 4, this guy, when the index is a 3. And actually there's an important function called list, or a list. And just like let's just explain the function called length first. Okay, just like length, this function is we use the length to find out the size of the string. You can also use the same function to know the size of the list. So when I say print, for example, length of the string n, this guy, the n, this is going to print what? The size of the list, which is 4, right? So it's going to print 4. And then there's an important function that you need to know is a list. Okay, the list is basically take a string, for example, string as an input, and returns a list version of the string. So example is, let's say s is equal to hi there, right? And then when you use a function list, let's say k is a variable name, and then I'm going to use a function list, and then this function will take a string as its input, which is s. So take this as its input and returns the string. Returns the list. So basically, the k is going to have hi there. So it's going to separate by comma, right? Oops, this is like space, so comma. And then since this is the character, so that's the k is going to have this list of a string s. Okay, so this is an important function you should know. By the way, let's say I want to print this all the elements in the list. So obviously, then what? You have to use a loop, right? Let's say use a for loop. Let's say for variable name element. So you can use any variable name. Element in what? Element in k, right? Element in k, which is this one. And then you can say print element. Okay, Or another way you can say is for this time, let's use an index. Let's say index in range. So we use a range function for the string. The same concept is applied for the list. Range, and the length of what? Length of k. In this case, the length of k should returns what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8, pretty much. And then you have to have colon, sorry. You have to have colon. And then print what? K and I. Okay, so let's just use this. Let's just test. Let's just use a Python idle to run some of the example shown. Okay, so let's see. The color is equal to what? Um, the color is equal to, let's say, red, blue, and then comma yellow, right? This is a color is basically a variable that has this list of colors. So when you say print, print the color, let's say index 0, let's say index 1, then it should print blue, right? So it prints blue. And let's say string s is equal to, let's say string s is equal to, let's say hi there. And then I'm going to convert this string to a list. So I'm going to use a list function. So let's say variable k is going to have list of string s. So let's say I'm going to use a function list, and then s is going to be my input variable, which is a string. Oops. So, right? So when I say print k, let's just print k. Yes. So it has basically list of the string s, hi, and then this is like space, THERE, right? And then let's just print all the elements using for loops. For element in k. So the first element is going to be h, and next element is I, and then the next third element is going to be space, and etc. So for element in k, let's say colon and then print what? Print element. Right? So it'll print hi there. And then you can use another, this time let's use index or I. I mean, this is a variable name, so you can use I or index. So let's use index in range. This is very similar to the one that we use for the string, right? Range, length of what? Length of list k, right? And then print. Since we use the index, I have to say print k and index. Okay. Basically, I mean the first for loop we can use this. I mean this the first for loop we used what variable k, right? We can use this list to print element. So what I mean by that is element instead of k, you can put actual you can use actual list. Same thing, right? I, and then what next one is I have, and then next one is T, right? So I'll just stop here. And then print element. So just basically print hi and then space t, right? A. So that's the end. Uh, this is like the last example for the list.